Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, the anime that would.
It's Jujutsu.
Oh.
You dumb
Yo,
stupid
yo, yo,
little
yo,
fucking.
yo. I don't know what that intro was. Season 2 finally ended. The project that was already doomed from the beginning, but even when the staff was handicapped by one of the worst managed production ever, because nothing is worse than one direct priority, the team still pulled it through. It is still a goldmine for exposing the working conditions in the anime industry to normies, but of course they still use the word budget. Series director Shotoko Suzono really put his all, bringing in talent and also doing a lot of work. There's also, I guess you can say, a different philosophy for this season, maybe because the content is more dialogue heavy and just more informative for the story, while season 1 is your classic shonen introduction, which is usual. Normally shonen does the classic stuff for the first couple of seasons, then they just branched off to do their own thing, but there's definitely a more directorial motive rather than a focus on action. Of course the action was there, and they had the best action episode in JJK, but we'll talk about that later. People have different opinions about what season was better in terms of the animation side. Well, if talking about animation, then what the fuck is it? On a serious note, Sang-woo Park as a director focused more on action. He's not really a very cohesive director. He relies more on the action rather than the whole product, I guess. He is one of the best action directors out there. His action boards and his style of animation, kind of like Kaneda style, but not really. It's kind of like Takashi Minami style. It's kind of the S with the poses and the timing, but has a different touch to it, so it's like the Minami style. Same with Park, which is just their own style. His output also, most of the time he just does all the layout or key animation for the episode he directed or participated, but the worst component that made season 1 look pretty bad is the composite and just the overall aesthetic. Even in season 2 where the condition was way worse, the CG and the compositing still keeps up with the animation because they improved, and also the director vision being Goso. Even in Chainsaw Man where there isn't much gap between JJK season 1, the overall compositing and art direction looks exponentially better in Chainsaw Man. Because of Yuri Nakayama, it fits the vision that the director has and also their guidance. Of course there are some exceptions where the composite shines, like with Tanaka's episode, which is probably still the most aesthetically pleasing looking episode, and the Goso episode in season 1. And now, finally we get to see a talented once in a lifetime director taking the reins in a big shonen IP, and they showcased it with the arc that starts off season 2, the Hidden Inventory arc. This arc really shows the new art style and philosophy that Goso and the team is going for, swapping the character designer to Saika Koiso, making the detailed design to a more lighter, less detailed one, but still has nuance to it. And episode 1 was a display of that. With Goso taking the first episode, we get to see the improvements, the CG, art direction, compositing, every aspect of it combined in a great showing for the introduction. The tone of this arc, starting off with this ominous and eerie feel that can change very rapidly to a fun slice of life vibe, then death. With Goso's incredible understanding of spacing and visual storytelling, culminating to an episode that can be one of the best directed shonen episodes of all time. The compositing and art direction can really speak volumes in some scenes that season 1 can't do. The overall scenery and color palette, backgrounds that can be more like a fever dream or haunted. We got some new names, or not really, because you could say they got more notoriety from JJK. Kosuke Kato, one of the 2 main animators that actually is a main animator. With his Kaneda style animation and giving some of the best hand-to-hand combat, very reminiscing of Park's action. Kaito Tomioka giving some spectacles and giving us the blackest of Black Flash, Daniel Kim, Nothing Yukon, and a lot more. I think the 2 main factors that carried the most in this season is the directors and animation directors. Getting people like Naoki Miyajima and Arifumi Amai, both are amazing action animators, being in a directorial role. The more capable action episode by Miyajima, the first fight in the season displays the freedom that the director gave to the animators. While the action was definitely the highlight of the episode, the tone shift with the slice of life segment distracting the viewers from everything that's about to happen. Arifumi Amai's episode was an interesting one. While he is one of the best action animators out there, the action part was limited because he wanted more of the drawings to be strong and consistent, so he sacrificed the movement aspects of it with the help of some of the best animation directors out there. Imai is an exceptional storyboard artist. He storyboarded his own action action scenes like the Beast Sign one and the Lost Levi scene, the action was still impressive, and his storyboarding work making even dialogue more interesting with great framing. Also, the last scene for Amai's episode really visualized the split that is about to happen, but the highlight of this arc was episode 5, storyboarded by Goso and directed by Atsushi Nakagawa, really showing what Goso is capable of with a more realistic body proportion art style, accompanied with some of the best animation directors being Takuya Ninuma and Sota Yamazaki, giving detailed corrections just to keep the tension and vibe of the episode. Again, Goso's framing and visual storytelling just adds more to this masterful of an episode. I think my words doesn't do it justice. If you want to know why episode 5 is a masterpiece of direction, just watch Manko Man's video. He did an incredible job analyzing every single component. While cracks rarely showed in the hidden inventory arc, the next arc where shit hit the fan, the arc that's been hyped so much to the point you can't even avoid manga spoilers. I beg you, please stop spoiling me. It's the Shibuya incident arc. This arc should have been called MAPPA's incident arc. I thought that was funny. A once-in-a-lifetime experience of the best, tackling a high-octane action show in a terrible schedule. While in the last arc was near perfect, this arc was all over the place. Some ups, very ups, and a lot of downs. Even more downs. Some episodes was sacrificed so that the important episodes are more polished. Also, some of the directors that was responsible for some of the episodes didn't really get enough time to even make a complete episode, and most of them are using their own connections to get talented animators or just animators on their own episode. Also, with some help of the regular animation directors from Twitter, the team tried to save some episodes with the resources and time they had. Example, episode 15, they had 2 storyboarders, which is normal, but it had 5 episode directors and 4 assistant directors. And of course, you bungled up all that talent in there, the final product is going to be good. But of course, there's a lot of inconsistencies. Even when an episode is highly prioritized, like with Kazuto Arai's and Takemichi Nogahara's episode, while yes, it had a lot of animators working on it, but it wasn't really enough, so Kazuto Arai had to do some extra stuff with making a lot of the layouts for the first half of the fight, while also supervising some of the other cuts that need some retakes and corrections, and a couple of instances of episode that was just not visible to even make a final product. It had horrible drawings, and even the animation couldn't keep up with the ambition. While there is a lot of negatives, the positives are also here. Goso encouraging some of these young talent to direct an episode, and it really shows in Yoto's episode. The amount of freedom that Yoto had to express his style to a whole episode is amazing. The Gurren Lagann inspired cuts, and overall one of the most ambitious episode. Although the episode sacrificed the overall polish, it was really still a spectacle to watch. And also Takafumi Mitani's crowd drawings and the erupt of panic that happened. Goso's action episode was going to be a recurring theme of a full Sakuga action episode that only has a couple of artists making highlights for the episode. Same with episode 3, couple artists doing long sequences, which is weird because in the first season, all of the full Sakuga episodes are just full of action animators. While other episodes had its episode director debuts, it was mostly carried by Jujutsu Kaisen, but nothing was preparing us for the 2 highlight episodes this season, or even this year as a whole. Last year, I mean. Episodes 16 and 17 are both high priority episodes, but both are so different in parallel. Episode 16, directed and storyboarded by Miso, was an action masterclass. This episode had the better end of the schedule, and it's my favorite action episode in JJK. Again, the highlight of this was basically done by 2 people, Nakaya Onsen and So Miyazaki. This is what happened when animators get the time they need to enhance their sequences. They probably did their own Genga by themselves too, and accompanied with Miso's action boards is amazing too. And just overall the aesthetic of the episode, leaning more on the Kagenashi style, which is eye candy to watch. Miso also animated stuff to just fill in the holes, and the Sukuna Gojo standoff is one of the most aesthetically pleasing thing to watch. But the parallel twin of episode 16 was the next one. This episode wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the schedule. Is that a good thing? I don't know. The episode was by 3 people, which is not good. Misho shouldn't even be here, but he actually took a more of an assistant director for this, and we get to see one of the most stacked episode with a schedule that is more shorter than your math homework deadline. By the way, my episode 17 video got blocked, so I'm being a bit cautious right now, so yeah. It was a mess, but also a masterpiece of just the amount of passion and ambition that Hakugo still wanted to do. You get some absolute big name animators like Weilian Zhang, Bird Creek, Hironori Tanaka, and a lot more. There's also the Vincent that was just Chansarding all over our faces. It is so unfortunate that this episode could have literally been the best looking anime episode of all time, but Asuka just gave the middle finger to the animators. I'll be honest, I lost all hope after episode 17. I thought the team was just done with everything, but I was wrong. There were some broken episodes. Even a Goso episode didn't really feel like a Goso episode. But even everything against them, some episodes or most of the episodes was amazing. Of course, most of them don't have the best polish. Beside the animation director that is such a workhorse, especially Soto Yamazaki, giving us again very detailed corrections and drawings that lean in more in the manga art style. Animators and directors trying to make it through. Goso tried his absolute best with the Nanami episode, still capturing the emotion that Itadori is going through with also the amazing voice acting. Nanami's send-off was so beautiful, intertwining the two separate worlds, his dream world and reality. Naoki Miyajima is back, also giving a well-rounded action episode with the help of Yoto animating so much and Kosuke Kato with his hand-to-hand combat animation. And the latter half of the episode giving more for directorial focus with beautiful scenery and an emotional roller coaster. In a lot of ways. Even at the end point, the team still dished out high quality action sequences, but they were handicapped to death. Even Kiro's cut was a bit underwhelming, but in the directorial sense, Goso's last episode and Yuji Tokuno's one still really stands out in the season. Tokuno's episode was definitely one of my favorites. The action was top tier, over the top scene like with Todo's Black Flash, which was very inspirational from All Might's scenes. His storyboarding work using it to the fullest, and the Miwa scene, although the storyboards was incredible by Tokuno. Licton did the most heavy lifting for the whole sequence with his great character acting and also did the color script for it. Shun also giving the absolute beautiful corrections, while on Goso's side he could finally do his own directing style, making scenes more depth and the ominous vibe of the whole second half. MAPPA is really trash, bringing in very ambitious animators to work on a project that doesn't even give the staff a fraction of time to fully put out their ideas. But even after everything, again, the absolute powerhouse of Goso himself, bringing his own friends and animators just so that they could help a friend out. A project that will probably go down in history as one of the worst managed anime can still thrive because of the dedicated team and people surrounding them. We just can't thank the staff enough to everything that they've done. If you want more information about the production, Sakuga Blog has a more detailed article for the first half of the season. Kevin will probably make the other half soon. I could go on for a while, but I just want to keep it short. If you guys like this video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a like, comment down below what are your thoughts about season 2 of JJK, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.